Welcome to the highlights of the Snaefellsnes Peninsula.
In this video we'll be picking up in Akureyri, the capital of the north, working our way down through the Snaefellsnes Peninsula and finishing up in Iceland's capital, Reykjavik.
After spending 2 nights, 3 days based in Akureyri, we felt we had more than enough time to visit the sites we intended. Now it's time for us to head further west towards our next stop.
Once we'd departed from Akureyri, it was obvious we were descending further down towards sea level, driving down the mountain passes through the clouds. First up on our stop for the day was the little town of Hofsós on the northern coast of Iceland. One of the first things we noticed when we arrived was that whilst there were shops, none of them were open, which was a little bit gutting because we really fancied a coffee. That being said, true to Icelandic fashion, they have some amazing lava columns in this little town on the coastline, definitely worth checking out.
Close by to the little town of Hofsós is the oldest turf church in Iceland, Kirkjufell.
This little turf church is one of the big sites in northern Iceland. With the typical Icelandic weather when we arrived, it gave it a really moody looking vibe, which was really quite cool to check out, but one thing to make note of, you can't go into the church itself. After around a 2-hour drive from Grafakirkja, we arrived at a sea stack known as Hvidsikka on the north coast. Albeit, it probably wasn't my finest moment of judgment when I seen the look of the road.
The 711 road suggests it is a 30-minute drive from the Ring Road. However, this is not the case. It took closer to an hour on a washboard surface, driving very slowly, even in our 4x4.
And truthfully, whilst the sea stack is impressive to see, and even at low tide you can walk out to, if I'd have known how bad the quality of the road was going to be, I might have given it a miss. Once we'd finished at Hvidsikka and probably needed a spinal readjustment from the road, we further headed south down towards the Snaefellsnes Peninsula.
Many people often regard the Snaefellsnes Peninsula as a mini Iceland. For those that don't want to self-drive to the peninsula, you can do day trips from Reykjavik.
As we were driving down from the north and then continuing on to Reykjavik, we decided to base ourselves in Borgarnes and then do the peninsula as a day trip.
In hindsight, we would recommend doing the peninsula over 2 days, spending a night there, as there is so much to do. On the road down to Snaefellsfoss, we came across some horses and decided to stop and say hello. They were super friendly and came over straight away to see us.
Located just off of the main coastal road around the Snaefellsnes Peninsula, Snaefellsfoss is an absolute hidden gem. With not many tours stopping there, it feels like a very peaceful and serene experience to be able to stop and mesmerise at the cascading falls coming off the cliff edge with the glacier in the backdrop.
Once we finished at the waterfall, we decided to drive through the street art capital of Iceland, Hellesanda. Not what you'd expect to see when in Iceland, but great to see the skills of the local artists.
When people say you can see a bit of everything Iceland has to offer on the Snaefellsnes Peninsula, the Saxhut crater is a shining example of that. At around 100 foot high and easily accessible from the car park, summiting this crater gives you brilliant views looking out over the Atlantic Ocean and the ancient lava fields of the Snaefellsnes Peninsula.
Walking to the top of the crater is relatively easy due to the stairs that have been installed. There is a bench halfway up if you need a break, but be careful if it's wet as the steps are metal and can be slippery.
Now the next stop on the Snaefellsnes Peninsula is definitely one for the adventure seekers. Rauðheiðarskjal Gorge is something of a crack in the cliff face that can be seen from the distance on the road, but something you would never imagine you could actually walk up into. Once parked up, while some websites claim it takes about 30 minutes, we managed to walk from the car park up to the entrance of the ravine in about 10 to 15 minutes. Once you're at the entrance to the ravine, this is where it gets special. When clambering through, you have the option to continue further deeper into the ravine, climbing and scrambling up small waterfalls to get to a final drop, allowing you to see where the water drops from the top of the cliff into the ravine.
If you're not keen on tight spaces or particularly mobile, you can still get into the entrance of the ravine, but going any further wouldn't be advised.
A couple of top tips if you're planning to go a bit further into the ravine. The first one, make sure you wear waterproof boots. Your feet are going to go in the water and they're going to get wet, and unless you want to be sat in a hotel with a hairdryer like I had to, clearing them out and drying them out, definitely make sure that your feet are ready to go. Second up, make sure you look where you're putting your hands. These ancient lava stone cliffs are sharp, and it's very easy to be looking one way whilst you're grabbing hold of a rock and to slip and cut your hand. Something of an unexpected souvenir on my behalf. Learn from my mistake.
Once Tom had finished climbing through the waterfalls, we headed back down towards the car park as we still had some additional stops before finishing our day. Just down the road from the ravine, the iconic black church, Kirkjufell. Often seen on social media, it's a lovely little stop and worth the small detour.
Whilst Kirkjufell was our last stop on the actual peninsula, another notable stop nearby is the Grabok crater near the town of Bifrost, something well worth checking out if you're driving from the north to Reykjavik.
It's easy to see why tour companies offer day trips to the Snaefellsnes Peninsula. With coastline waterfalls and volcanic craters, it showcases what Iceland's best known for in a compact area.
Having finished up on the peninsula and had an overnight stay in the coastal town of Borgarnes, the last leg of our Icelandic Ring Road adventure was from here down to Reykjavik to explore the city, relax in the spas, and in hope of catching the volcanic eruption down on the Reykjavik Peninsula.
Make sure to drop us a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to join us on future adventures.